Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the second E, which is efficacy. Now, efficacy, let me explain it to you because this is a bit of a psychologist word. Efficacy, or more correctly, we call this self-efficacy. And self-efficacy, or efficacy, we'll just call it, is about your specific confidence in being able to do a particular thing. So it's not about your general self-esteem or your general confidence about being able to do things. It's about your confidence to be able to do a very specific thing. And I often use the example of like, I have a high psychology self-efficacy. Like I saw 8 people yesterday, no drama. Some other psychologists are like, what? I enjoy it. It doesn't really even drain me. I love it. So I'm like, I have a high self-efficacy. I feel like I'm good at it. But I have a low cooking for other people's self-efficacy. So it's like, I just don't feel, maybe I could do it or not, but I don't feel confident in doing it. And this is what we're going to build, your movement related self-efficacy. So your confidence in being able to move your body. Now, a really important point is that self-efficacy is very closely linked with your motivation. So in my research, which was done a million years ago, I did a little statistical relationship between self-efficacy and motivation. And what I found was that they were more related to each other than they were separate. You know, in those little diagrams that you see with the circles, it was like they were like, uh-oh, we got me drawing again. Now you guys really are like my clients. You get the hieroglyphics that no one else apart from us will understand. So it's sometimes my notes have been subpoenaed before, and they're like, you must deliver all of your notes. It's like, well, good luck to the lawyers reading that. It's like, if here's your efficacy and here's your motivation, what I found was that they were more related to each other than they were separate. So it's like they're really closely linked. Now, one of the things that can mean, and I'd be keen to hear if anyone feels like this, is that sometimes when you're lacking self-efficacy, it can show up as ambivalence or feel like ambivalence because your motivation and your self-efficacy are so closely linked. So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm a bit like could take it or leave it, don't really care, that can be because you're lacking self-efficacy. So often, if your self-efficacy is killing your motivation, building up your self-efficacy will bring your motivation back to life. A good example of this, I think, and this is a funny example, is like, have you ever been like a kid and you've or seen kids like losing a game and they're like, I don't want to play anymore? That's not true that they don't want to play anymore. They don't want to lose anymore. That's a lack of self-efficacy. I don't think I can win this. I don't think I could do well at this. Now, the cool news is that as big kids, as adults, we get to create a style of movement, to play a game of movement that we know we can win at. And that's what we're going to be talking about, is, creating a style of movement where we can have self-efficacy. So I like to follow like a kind of generally a 90-10 rule. When 90% of your movement you're doing, like you feel like, I'm pretty good at this, I'm pretty comfortable, I know what I'm doing, there's a bit of a sense of mastery. And then maybe 10% you're like pushing yourself outside your comfort zone or doing deliberate practice in order to get better. Now you can change that up. You might make it like an 80-20 rule or a 70-30 rule. But in general, most of the time when we're doing our movement, we should be feeling like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. That's what's going to boost our motivation and keep us coming back.